Good evening to you. Well, I think we're going to wrap up the HF Fax series with maybe some words of wisdom, or what I learned the hard way. If I had to do this over again, well, if you ever have to do anything over again, you'd always do it differently. A couple things I would do over again. I would probably make sure I had a really good working antenna and a good working shortwave radio. You don't have to go out and buy one. You could probably find a friend if you're going to do this from scratch, or if you've got some of the equipment, I would make sure I kind of tuned that all up first. The next thing I would do is make sure that I had a computer or a laptop that had an audio input. For what little money I spent on this little Behringer adapter right there, I'll probably find other mad uses for that. You also might need an audio isolation transformer or two. You know, if you're going to order all that stuff, maybe you can get all the stuff together, or if you've got the stuff. You'll need a few audio cables. The one nice thing about that Behringer device, it uses RCA cables. Potato, it really doesn't matter. No matter what you've got, it's something different. You know, you've got a standard, like my Yacht Boy is 1/8 inch. I've got RCA on the R392. Didn't synchronize. Every once in a while it does that. That's okay. We'll just clear that baby. Actually, I had very little trouble with the software. This is the multi-PSPK. I'm using one of the modes. And that's the fax mode. There are plenty of other modes there. But it's been interesting. I'll probably try some of the other modes and fiddle around with the reception of digital data on HF radio some more. It's been pretty fun. One of the things I would do, probably the biggest thing I learned out of this whole thing is something I always learn, and I tend to forget it. And I don't know why. I've gotten it, beat into me a few dozen times. Is don't be afraid to try something, even though it seems a little wacky. I had trouble with my antenna. I thought, well, it can't be the antenna. Well, I hook an ohm meter up to it, and sure as heck, it's got some kind of a weird little bit of a resistive short to it, which was killing it dead. Today, when I was fiddling with the Behringer audio interface, I gave in and loaded the software, the driver it came, and it straightened that right up. But I'd also played with that other little baby USB interface, and it works just fine. I think it works as good. It doesn't have as many kind of maybe bells and whistles, but I don't know. It's 6 of one, half dozen the other. They both work. Pardon me. Don't be afraid to fiddle with your laptops. One thing that bit me today, I was thinking about starting a new potential series or a new avenue of exploration. I kind of had a buzz in the background, and I was thinking about blaming the Behringer's audio interface. And actually it turned out to be that my receiver wasn't grounded. I've got a water pipe right next to the bench. It's right behind the camera. It's that way. And I hooked that back up and busted that hum completely out of it. Even though I had the audio isolation transformers in there, the buzz wasn't coming from the interfaces or the computer. The computer actually down here on this laptop has been relatively quiet. I've got it plugged in. Originally when I started out, I didn't have it plugged in. I was using batteries. It's one of the nice things about the laptop is you can disconnect it and run it on batteries if you're chasing buzzes and hums and crackling noises. I found some weird buzzes and hums in the house. That's something I probably should have kept up on. One of them I had lately was I've got a infrared sensor when I come down to the basement. I've got two sets of light banks in the basement. One that's controlled on the stairwell, but it doesn't light over here by the bench, and that one over by the bench kicks on. That bank of lights kick on when I walk in there. Well, for some reason, when it's in that sense mode, it must have a triac or something. It makes a lot of noise. So now I've taken to when I come over here, I kick that there's a bypass mode on that switch, and you can kick it straight on. And when I go away for the day or the evening, I go ahead and kick it back on to the sense mode. What else did I learn? Oh, I don't know. A lot of fun stuff, actually. I really had a great time doing this. It could be a little frustrating at times, and some bad words were said, but any good project is that way. You know, some of the stuff is, oh yeah, and I believe I even said this in one of my earlier videos, if everything went our way, life wouldn't be very fun or very challenging. You know, if everything got handed to you on a silver platter, it would get kind of boring. And I really like the chase. As I said in the other video, I can get this, I can download this off the internet, this picture coming through now, in probably a tenth of a second. And it would be cleaner than that, but it wouldn't be very interesting, it wouldn't be very fun. I don't know, I guess I feel a real sense of pride that I've managed to whip this into shape with what tools I used. Number one tool being the old brain box. It's always good to exercise your brain, whether it's, you know, crossword puzzles or Sudoku or Sudoku, however it's pronounced, or, you know, little problems. It's always fun to, and it's always, I think it's always good to venture off the track. You know, if you're, I don't know, if you're good at math or accounting or working on cars, it's always good, I think, to venture away from those things, and it teaches you some new skills that you take back to your day-to-day skills. And I think it kind of shores those things up a little bit and makes them better. Like I said in one of my earlier videos, I always learn, so every day. If I don't learn something, it's really kind of a total loss, and I'm really a little disappointed in myself. I always learn something every day. I've fiddled with another program called CTTY. I'm not going to really go into that one probably. I'm going to probably wrap this up unless somebody's got a serious hanker for some more information or something. There's a few little tiny things to iron out, but they're not really worthy of tying up people's time. I'll learn some stuff about, you know, maybe a little better working with the camera, a little more editing, some other things. There's always some spin-off things. It's like I said before too, you know, you're over by the shoes, you end up by the, you know, physics package equipment. You never know what you're going to run into. And it sometimes it brings new life to old things. I dug some equipment out that I'd had in storage for a while and kind of used it. I played, you know, stare and compare with some different receivers, and like always, there are good things and bad things on any device. My partners in crime at the local eats place think this is really revolutionary, and a few of them have stopped by to see what this is all about and been just amazed. They thought I was downloading this off the internet somehow, and I would have them tune the receiver or knock the receiver or take the power away to the receiver, and so they could see that it was coming out of the air. It's just doing its thing there. I learned some other things about some more things about the National Weather Service. They have other, one of the things I kind of tinkered with a little on the side was they have stationary and free-floating data buoys. That's kind of piqued my interest a little bit. I don't know whether I'm going to go down that path or not. I would like to, but there are probably other things I need to be doing. And this has been a really great little diversion. And it's a challenge at times. You know, you're up against, you know, unknown factors. You're up against fades and comings and goings of radio. Sort of makes you appreciate that what people had to do or put up with years ago. Nowadays we take it for granted. We want something off the internet, and boy, it's there. And it's disappointing, especially when it fails you. If you're trying to download some data or music or picture or something, and you don't get your way. I've seen some people just about have a conniption fit. You know, the skin like splits off of their skull, and these beams of light come out. Well, think you're kind of forgetting where you came from, you know. Maybe you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. Maybe it's a warning. So there you go. There's kind of everything in a nutshell. It's just clicking away there. It's about 6:30, and around here anyway, the 6 o'clock hour seems like a pretty hot time to pick up the data from those. I haven't really tried any other other frequencies. There's a number of them on that document from NOAA. I'm not going to spoil that for you. I've left some things kind of hazy on purpose to keep from spoiling things and to make you get out there and do a little legwork. Drive that mile and a half. Won't hurt you. It's good for you. Anybody can, you know, sit down and watch a video on the internet and, oh yeah, I know how to do that. Well, seeing it and doing it, or, you know, especially for the first time, are two different things. Especially with just stuff in general. Well, I think I've gibby-gabbed it long enough for you. I'd like to thank all the people that subscribed, everybody that commented, and I think we're going to put this baby to rest. So, if you have any questions in the big scheme of things, thanks for hanging on this long. Or if you have any comments, or after all this you'd like to join my channel or subscribe to my channel, I don't know how quickly I'll come back to HF faxes, but I bet there will be something similar. There's plenty of data out there in the RF world to be grabbed up and listened to. Who knows, maybe we'll find something interesting. There's plenty of undocumented things. I heard it again today. I mentioned this the other day. That between 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock, I believe it was 3:30, that I'd heard voice on this channel. It's not documented anywhere that I see, but I did hear it. I tried to record it with the Behringer interface and a program called Audacity, which is free. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Okay, so there you go. So if you're going to venture down this road, I wish you well. You'll do okay. Thanks.